Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Fractal Cactus. Today I'm covering a little game called Manus Dei from developer Lateralis Heavy Industries. They're a indie developer. This is only their third game. The other two games are Dogworld, which is kind of like a Metroidvania, I guess, and OXTO, which is sort of like a Hotline Miami roguelike assembly. Manus Dei is what I would consider a single-player, wave-based arena shooter, or in other words, a Devil Daggers like. I don't know how many games like this there are specifically on the market. Of course, there's Devil Daggers and Hyper Demon. There may be more. This is only the third one that I have ever played. I would say it's not quite as tight all around as Devil Daggers, and while the game is still very new, and I think people are going to have to take some time to kind of figure out some of the finer details of it, I would say that it doesn't have as much depth as Devil Daggers, and it certainly doesn't have as much depth as Hyper Demon. Having said that, I do feel like this game is a bit more approachable. Well, at least more approachable than Hyper Demon. Devil Daggers is an approachable game. I don't want to get too deep into like the scoring systems of either of them, but ultimately, when it came to Hyper Demon, I felt like it was maybe a little bit too strict. It was almost like playing like Dodonpachi or something. Like you almost have to like route that game out. It's very specific what it is that you have to do to be successful in it. I don't know. Maybe it's changed now from launch, but with Hyper Demon, I felt like there was a very clear path through the game, and if you were kind of you were going off course from that, then you were going to see difficulty with it. I know with Devil Daggers there was a bit more, even if only slightly, a bit more room for like improvisation. And Manus Dei kind of feels that way too. Manus Dei's whole claim to fame, despite being very similar to those two other games, I think is its movement systems. The creme de la creme, the signature of it is the titular Manus Dei. The Manus Dei is the name of the weapon in the game. It's like a holy weapon, right? By their own admission in the game description. It's funnily enough, it's a shotgun that fires rifle cartridges. The developer had said that on Twitter. If you look at the animation for the gun when it's firing, it does indeed shoot rifle cartridges out of the back of the ejection port, despite the fact that it is firing some kind of a pellet-based projectile. I know that that's like not a big deal, though I did think it was interesting that A, somebody asked the dev that question, and B, that they responded with a very specific answer. And despite that, it's definitely a shotgun. And the whole crux of the gameplay is, well, outside of the like wave-based nature of it, is the movement, using the shotgun to shotgun jump, shotgun strafe. It's great, actually. That's like the best part of the game, is just moving around this small arena space and just enjoying that system that they've put together. Like I said, it is wave based, so a problem that this game has, and Hyper Demon and Devil Daggers also suffer from this problem. And you know what? I play a lot of shmups, both on my stream and on this channel. And, a lot of shmups suffer from this problem as well, is that the beginning is actually kind of slow-paced. And it gets to a point where you start to want to improve and get better and see further into the game. Now, a lot of shmups will allow you to credit feed, because they're based on our old arcade games, so you just put more quarters in, right? This isn't an arcade game, so there's no way to credit feed through it. So as you're doing runs, you might start to find some initial frustration as you're trying to get better. You can start to feel yourself improving at the gunplay and the movement and target prioritization and things like that. But if you die, and you die in one hit, you have to go back to the beginning and sort of start that process all over again. So ultimately, the game is best digested in small bursts because of that. I think, you could very well get better at it, maybe in a short period of time as well. But if you're prone to, getting frustrated from that kind of repetition, it might be best to play it, for an hour a day or whatever until you start to see more significant improvement at it. And like I said, people could discover tech and they could discover things about the game and share that with the community that might make it a bit smoother. I started to get a little bit further myself. I think my best run is like 2,300 points. And at that point, I had started to just like circle strafe, really. And I wasn't like jumping or shotgun jumping or anything quite as much. And while that did see me some amount of success, I felt like I was starting to push up against like using that as a dominant strategy. If you press left shift, you release like this limiter on the gun. These spikes shoot out from the front of the muzzle, and the gun has like a rapid fire capability. When you kill specific enemies, like not the little popcorn enemies, as we would call them in a shmup, but some of the bigger enemies, they drop these little orange crystals, and each one of those you pick up will allow you to stay in that limit break state for longer. And you can tell around the crosshair there are these two bars on the left and right side, and when that fills up, you can activate it, and then, of course, when it drains, you're out of the limit break state. But the more of those crystals that you pick up, the longer that you can remain in that state. So I'm assuming that, maybe by a certain point in your run, you can just stay in that state for quite a long time. I'm not really sure exactly how that works. And if you look at the leaderboard, some of the higher scores are like 16 or 18,000 or something like that. So I don't know if this has an end like Devil Daggers and Hyper Demon do. I haven't looked on YouTube yet to see if anybody has uploaded their run. I maybe should have done that before I put this video out, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it for a little bit. I think the game is really cool. Like I said, I think it's a bit more approachable than Devil Daggers and Hyper Demon, just because it seems like you can kind of just vibe with it a little bit more, doing some part to the movement systems. It will be interesting to see if the game develops a fan base and if people start to get good at it. That'd be really cool. Maybe I'll get good at it. I think my high score right now, like I said, is 2,000 something. So at the time of publishing this video, that puts me in like the top 50, which sounds impressive until you realize that, there's not many people that have played it yet. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if any, strats develop, any tech. I'll be poking my head into the Steam forums and the community page on and off to see if anybody has anything to say, and looking on YouTube. At one point, I had intended to get better at like Hyper Demon and stuff, and I kind of fell off the wagon on that, but I like the aesthetic of this more. Hyper Demon is amazing. I mean, like, it has one of the coolest looks of any game I've ever seen. The only thing I think that comes close is like Thumper. And Devil Daggers, not to like rag on it or anything, but it has like a Quake aesthetic. Not that this doesn't, but I think this has a slight like survival horror look to it. Like I said, like Silent Hill. And I think the gun itself, the Manus Dei, is one of the cooler things. It differentiates it just a little bit from the competition. And you know what? The sound design is excellent. The music track in here is really cool. The gun itself is so punchy. I mean, it's extremely satisfying to use it. So on that front, they have nailed everything. It's just at this point kind of trying to figure out the dominant strategies, figure out specifically how to play this to survive for longer without feeling like, because like in the run where I had like the 2,000 point run, towards the end of that run before I died, I was just like terrified. I didn't feel like in command of the battlefield. So that's going to take, it's just going to take time and comfort and familiarity with the game to get to a point where you're really just taking things to pieces. So regardless, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching the video. If you could drop a like, that would be awesome. Subscribe on your way out if you could. Be sick. I don't post videos a whole lot because I don't want to fill up my page and your inbox with junk, but I try to post when I feel so inclined to. So the fact that I even made a video about this game says I think it's pretty cool and it's something special. So anyway, thanks again. Peace, and I hope to see you in the next video.